Fridays, 3330 Veterans Boulevard in Metairie. As good as it gets, in here it's always Friday. Great lunch specials. The salads are great. The burgers are outstanding. You get 2 for $6.99, 2 for $8.99. It doesn't come any better for lunch. And the dinner's great too, with steaks and more at TGI Fridays. And a pleasant good evening to you. Ken Trahan for sportsNOLAtv from sportsNOLA.com at TGI Fridays in Metairie. So glad you've joined us here this evening as we talk about yet another exciting week and weekend of football. And of course, we'll talk about high school football, college football, pro football, and we'll do it with three gentlemen who know the game very well. First and foremost, my friend Torrance Small, former New Orleans Saints wide receiver, NFL receiver of 10 years. Good evening, my friend.
How we doing, Ken, and how we doing out there? Hey, sad day, more football. Plenty of football left in this season.
That's it.
That's it.
Very little to say.
That's it.
Isn't that unusual?
It's not much to say.
And the guy that will take his time since he didn't use it all, from sportsNOLA.com, writer par excellence, Brian Alley Walsh. The floor is yours, Brian.
Ken, thanks. It's always a pleasure to be here. I know we're going to dissect the Saints till we're blue in the gums, but I just want to again throw kudos at Curtis Johnson and the Tulane Green Wave, 5-2, and like we said last week, dare we say bowl?
Yes.
Great deflection.
Yes, you may. It's not a dare anymore. It's a virtual guarantee. It's all good. So you can say it and say it again if you'd like.
Bowl!
And of course, Pro Football Hall of Famer, former New Orleans Saints great, Saints Hall of Famer, every Hall of Fame you can come up with. He's in our Hall of Fame because we love him, Ricky Jackson. Ricky?
I'll tell you what, I'm glad the Raiders got on Tulane bandwagon. So, I mean, I've been trying to get him to get on the Tulane bandwagon the whole while. So it's great to see Tulane winning. Great to see that they bowl potential already almost. You know, a couple more wins. Man, who knows? They might be playing Alabama one day.
Oh, wow. That's a little bit ambitious. And what about some love for your LSU Tigers? They took it. LSU Tigers took it to your homeboys, didn't they?
Yeah, I tell you what, they took it to Florida, and I tell you, I thought Florida had a chance, but LSU just overpowered.
All right, so LSU, Tulane, the Saints. We got high school football to tell you about as well, and some highlights. All of that forthcoming. And when we return, highlights of the Saints and the Patriots as sportsNOLAtv continues from TGI Fridays, 3330 Veterans Memorial Boulevard in Metairie on WHNO Channel 20. Patriots have a way of doing that to opposing teams. Ask Peyton Manning. He knows all about that from many encounters over the years. It's sportsNOLAtv from TGI Fridays, 3330 Veterans Boulevard in Metairie. Okay, so the Saints are 5-1. And in retrospect, if you'd have told me they would split the two road games going to Chicago and New England, I'd say good job. And you're in great shape as a result. And they are heading into the bye week. But what troubles you is how it got to this. And obviously this was a game that was there for the Saints to win, and they did not do so. Brian, despite the fact that Drew Brees had a subpar game, was not good at all in this game, despite the fact that their defense wasn't as good as they should have been, despite the fact that the Patriots dropped the ball the entire game, it was there for them. They simply didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's why I agree, Kenny. You know, that's why I think just beating Chicago up at Soldier Field was very important, because you kind of knew that this was going to be the game that we saw would go down to perhaps the last minute, last play. New England is a very good club, and they're even a better club at home. They've got a record through the month of October at home since '06. You know, that's a tough team to beat at their place. But the Saints should have had it, would have had it, could have, would have, should have. That's all you want to say at this point, Kenny, you know?
Well, when you watch the game and you see missed opportunities, you start to wonder if they're going to catch up with you, Torrance, and that's what happened here. When you have Darren Sproles wide open down the sideline for what would have been an easy touchdown and miss him. When you have Nick Toon wide open in the flat at the goal line and miss him badly, those are points you don't get back.
Yes. In a game like this, you got to take advantage of every opportunity, because good teams will capitalize and will respond to those mistakes that you made. Now, New England, they made some mistakes as well. They had a lot of drops. We didn't take advantage of it, and we consider ourselves a good team. But when we messed up, they jumped on it, they stomped us, and they took advantage of those mistakes that we made and capitalized.
Ricky, you played defense, and nobody takes players out of the game better than New England does over the years. Belichick's done it time after time. Jimmy Graham, no catches. First time that happened in 44 games. Marcus Colston, 1 catch. First time that happened since 2011. What did New England do to take these guys out of the game so effectively?
I mean, they concentrate on the 2 guys, but, we have so many more guys open that we could have got the ball to. And just like Terrence was saying, guys are wide open. We just didn't get the ball to them. But I'll tell you one thing, that was a home field game. Anytime you playing in New England, they record something like 28-1 or 23-1, at home. So it's hard to beat those guys at home. And look like to me, referees kind of helped them a little bit, So that's the way I looked at the game. I looked at the holding call that they should have had. They didn't call that. There's 2 or 3 times that it looked like the guy dropped the ball. They didn't call that. So the referee was on the home team side.
Brian, as you look at the Saints wide receivers, are you concerned at all? Kenny Stills is stepping up, 3 catches, had the touchdown. Nick Toon had 1 catch. Of course, he would have had another for a touchdown if Breeze puts the ball on him. But Colson with 1 catch. Robert Meacham's invisible. He hasn't contributed anything basically other than 1 touchdown earlier this year. Lance Moore's hurt. Are you starting to worry a little bit about their wide receivers?
Absolutely. Now, the good thing is, Kenny, Aqib Talib, there's not many guys like him in the NFL, if another cornerback like him. But you're right. You worry about Stills. You worry about Toon. Where have Marcus Colston been? We know where Lance Moore is on the shelf right now. Robert Meacham. You've got 3 receivers and only 1 really produced a catch, and that was Marcus Colston. Teams are going to figure out ways to take Jimmy Graham out of a game, and if they can be successful, effective, this is a copycat league, and these guys know other teams are going to do that. Now, they may not have a Talib, but there's other ways you can take Jimmy Graham out of a game.
Well, Graham, by the way, apparently having an MRI on his foot, so stay tuned where that's concerned. Aaron Sproles got nailed late in the game. Breeze led him right into a defender, and he got cracked and knocked out, and that really hurt the Saints late in the game, too. When you take Graham and Sproles away, Torrance, you've taken away their 2 biggest weapons easily.
Yes, they took away those guys. Understand, we still had an opportunity to win this game. We still moved the ball. We still bounced out with them for his total yards in the game. One thing that did step up that we've been struggling with all year was the run game. The run game did step up. The 3-headed monsters they had out there did a great job. They also stepped up as catching the ball as well as the running backs. A lot of balls went to the running backs in this game. If those things, they're going to take away your deep threat, they're going to take away those big play guys, then we have to nickel and dime. You're going to have to win games like this. It's going to be something like this, and we have to win. We had opportunity. We didn't. Hopefully they'll come back after sitting on this for 2 weeks and come back and play better.
Ricky, did they not run the ball enough? It seems to me that with the way they were taking away these guys outside, and with Wilfork being out, and their ability to gash this team, which they did, inside, did the Saints not run the ball enough in this game?
Well, I think they ran the ball enough. I like the game plan the Saints had. The game plan wasn't a problem for us. A couple of balls just didn't get to where they should have got to, but the game plan wasn't a problem. And I think the defensive line still, they're doing a great job with the pass rush. Then the safeties got a chance to get in the pass rush on the blitz and stuff. So the Saints had the ball game. They just let it slip at the end.
Well, this was another in the saga of painful last-second touchdowns that have plagued the Saints over an extended period of time. Of course, the one yesterday, go back to the one that we all remember in the playoffs in 2011. Alex Smith passed to Vernon Davis. We know all about that. Remember the winless Browns beating Mike Ditka's Saints? Oh, goodness gracious, Tim Couch. The Buccaneers in 07 with Luke McCown's pass with 14 seconds left. Shane Matthews, really? In 1999 for the Bears against Ditka, kind of sealing his fate. Everybody's got these in their history, Brian. The Saints just have some that are pretty notable in the last seconds.
Yeah, and what makes this more painful, I think, is that, for 59 minutes and 55 seconds, this club is going to be 6-0. They're going to go into a bye week, and they're sitting pretty in the NFC. And then the Hail Mary drops from above, and suddenly, the sky hasn't opened up. The world isn't come to an end. It could be a heck of a lot worse, and all you got to think back is 2 years ago, this could have been the end of a season, and it's not. They still have 10 games to go, and this is a very good football team, and hopefully they'll learn from this mistake.
But not only that, it wasn't a conference game, which is a good thing. And right now, we're in the second quarter. We're 1-1 in the second quarter. There's still a lot of football left. No need to panic. Hey, take this one, soak it up. You got 2 weeks and move forward.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the Saints in a great position. I mean, everybody else so far behind them. All we got to do is maintain what we're doing. Win another 5 games and lose 1, and we're right where we want to be at.
Yep, the reality is they lost this one, but they won 2 just like it earlier against the Falcons and the Bucs. So they're really 2-1 in these kind of situations. When we return, we'll take a trip around the NFL as Sports NOLA TV continues from TGI Fridays in Metairie on WHNO Channel 20. Trivia question of the evening concerns Drew Brees, and it's a good one. I'll let you ponder it and figure it out. When Drew Brees quarterbacked at New England this past Sunday, he has now done so in 30 of the 31 NFL stadiums. The question, what is the only NFL city the Saints have not played in since Brees arrived in 2006? Only one. Which one is it? Think about it. Come back with an answer later in the show, and let's see how wise you are. Ken Trahan, Sports NOLA TV continues from TGI Fridays. Well, the NFL weekend was another weekend of great interest, which left only 2 unbeaten teams remaining in the league, and they happen to reside in the same division. Let's take a look at results from this past weekend. Of course, the Thursday night affair with the Bears rebounding after their loss to the Saints to beat the Giants. And Green Bay took care of Baltimore. Good win for the Packers on the road. Thriller, Cincinnati in overtime over Buffalo. The Bengals are a threat. Detroit, solid win over Cleveland. Brandon Whedon, a forgetful throw in that game. How about St. Louis just burying Houston at Houston, and the Boo Birds out for an injured quarterback, which stinks. Kansas City unbeaten, took care of Oakland 24-7. Most improved team in the league playing a weak schedule. Carolina went to Minnesota and destroyed the Vikings. Ominous sign for the Saints there. Pittsburgh got a win. They beat the Jets 19-6. Elsewhere, Philadelphia got a great effort from Nick Foles, kept Tampa Bay winless. Who's the quarterback of the Eagles moving forward? Denver, ho-hum, they really had a letdown, but they still won by 16 over hapless Jacksonville. Seattle, Saints fans, bad news. They beat Tennessee 20-13. And more bad news, Saints fans. San Francisco beat Arizona 32-20. Dallas rebounds with a 31-16 victory over Washington. The Monday night game is Indianapolis at San Diego. Interesting results from an interesting weekend in the National Football League. Brian, what got your attention from this past weekend?
Normally there's several, but there's only one game in my mind, and that's St. Louis's blowout of the Texans at Reliant Stadium. And not only did they dismantle the Texans, the Rams did, but it was the way in which they did it. They had touchdowns scored by the offense, defense, and special teams. But I want to refer to one play. Kenny alluded to it, and it's just a travesty that the Texan fans, home fans, would boo when Matt Schaub suffered an ankle injury and had to be assisted off the field. And players from both sides responded to that. And you know what? You should be ashamed of yourself. It does make me think, Kenny, back in the mid-'90s when Saints fans booed when Wade Wilson went down with an injury.
Cheered, not booed, but cheered.
Cheered, I'm sorry, excuse me. And Jim Moore referred to it as, he referred to the fans as sick, sick, sick. You know what? You spend a lot of money to pay for tickets and everything like that, but that does not give you the right to cheer for an injured player, particularly your own.
Nice. Very nice put. Very well put. The game that I was shocked about, Denver and Jacksonville. I thought it'd be more of a blowout. I had the opportunity to watch this game, and Denver jumped out. They had a spread of 28 points. Then it went down to 26. But Jacksonville came out and played much better than expected. I was shocked by that. They even stopped Payton a couple times, picked them off. He threw another interception, which I thought was surprising. Wasn't very much excitement in the NFL this week, but that was a shocker to me.
Ricky?
I'll tell you what I like, seeing Dallas come back. I mean, last week they had a burner against Denver, and they lost it at the end. But they came right back this week and showed a steady performance. And I mean, you know, even looking at Carolina, those two teams this week, they showed me that they up and down, but they can score a lot of points and got good defense.
Well, to me, it was Carolina. I mean, this is a team that when they hit on all cylinders, they're pretty dangerous. They can play some defense, they can run the ball. When Cam Newton plays well as he did this past week, they're a dangerous team. They went into Minnesota and dismantled the Vikings. The Vikings are in disarray. They went and picked up Josh Freeman. Nobody knows who their quarterback is. Of course, Adrian Peterson had a tragedy losing his 2-year-old son, which was a major distraction. But the Vikings are a total mess. Carolina took advantage of it, and the Saints have to be very cognizant of what this team is capable of doing moving forward. Let's take a look at the NFC South standings as a result of this past weekend's action. The Saints are still in total control of the division by 3 over the Panthers, by 4 over the Falcons, and of course by 5 over Tampa Bay. So, Brian, as you look at that, will it be Carolina or will it be Atlanta that threatens to maybe be a 500 team or make the playoffs?
Kenny, I'm with you on Carolina. I think they're a sleeping giant, and if they discover how to play good offense on a consistent basis, and that starts with Cam Newton, they're a team to be reckoned with. I'm not saying they're going to overtake the Saints in the division, but they're a team that could give them problems when they meet twice later in the season.
Yes, I also think Carolina. You got to understand, Carolina at the end of last year, I think they turned in 5 of the last 6 games they won. They picked it up, and their defense, have a great defense. Anytime you have a pretty good defense, you give yourself an opportunity to win ball games.
You kind of wonder about Atlanta, Ricky. You have a team that lost Julio Jones now, and even rumors about Tony Gonzalez being traded. I mean, seriously.
I mean, at that age, I mean, you know, how can he get traded at that age? But Atlanta, they problem really come from, seem like to me, the coaching staff. I mean, they got great players, but they don't play together. So that's a coaching staff problem right there to get those guys to play together. But as far as Carolina, I think they got one of the best front four in football, and I think that's going to take them a long way. So that's the team you're going to have to reckon with.
Yeah. Hey, of course, Tampa, you talk about a team that's in disarray. Tampa, with their coaching and their GM, they have a lot of problems going on over there right now. I think they're spreading a lot of blame of why the season is the way it is, and they have this disease that's going into different players and whatnot. They have a lot they have to clean up. I think they're going to be in a rebuilding mode, basically probably from the top. Starting from the top, from the GM on down.
Right, a long way to go, but the Saints are going to have to beat Seattle, and they're going to have to beat San Francisco, who physically beat them last year. So, to me, it's all about those teams, and by losing, you played yourself a game back to San Francisco and to being even with Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's, you know, like we talked about, Kenny, they face a 4-game stretch here after Buffalo and the Jets, and to me, that's going to be where their season is going to determine whether or not they are true an NFC home field advantage or get one of those byes. I'm penciling them into the playoffs, okay? I don't think I'm going out on a limb, but, you know, they're a good enough team. But that 4-game stretch, San Francisco, Dallas, Seattle, and Atlanta, that'll be where it determines.
Yeah. You know, being in the Super Bowl and stuff, I know that, you know, when the season over with, everybody starts fresh. So all those teams make the playoff and start fresh. Teams can get hot, can go all the way. So the Saints in great position.
They really are in great shape, and I think that going forward, this is exactly where you hoped you would be. 5-1 going to the break, they are. And now they simply have to come out of it and play good football. We'll take a timeout here when we return. Did the Saints lose the game or did the Patriots win the game? Our hot seat segment is next on sportsNOLAtv. iSportsNOLA.com trivia question for this evening. With Sunday's game in New England, Drew Brees has now quarterbacked the Saints in 30 of the 31 NFL stadiums. What is the only NFL city the Saints have not played in since Brees arrived in 2006? Answer is an ironic one. Brees' former city of San Diego. Remember, the Saints played the Chargers in London back in 2008, so no road game there of sorts. An extended road game, but they didn't play in San Diego, so Brees has never had the opportunity to go home again, as it were, to play against the Chargers. Ken Trahan, sportsNOLAtv from TGI Fridays in Metairie. It is time now for our hot seat segment. And our hot seat segment, as always, is brought to you by Pride Services AC and Heating. Pride Services handles all your AC and heating needs. Since 1984, Pride Services skilled technicians have served and repaired all brands and models. They never charge for on-site estimates and pride themselves on fast, reliable service. Get out of the hot seat and call Pride Services. Pride Services will fix it right today. Be here tomorrow. Since 1984. Very tough loss for the New Orleans Saints at Gillette Stadium, and our topic is very simply this. Did the Patriots win the game, or did the Saints lose the game? As we know, in the general consensus of what really happened, both are true, but which one is more accurate in the opinion of Brian Alley Walsh? Brian?
Thank you, Doctor. Simple. It's simple to me. The Saints lost this game, and I'll tell you why. For an organization and a coaching staff that prides itself on situational football, this was the perfect blueprint for success to do the proper things in the 4-minute and in the 2-minute, and they did neither. You could make cases for poor clock management by the sideline, Sean Payton specifically, but they had the game in control. New England was running out of timeouts. I thought the third down pass to Marcus Colson, which extended the clock for New England, was a bad decision. I thought Keenan Lewis's decision to fling Dobson out of bounds to kill the clock also was a bad decision. Those are the kind of decisions that, this is a regular season game. You make that in the playoffs and you're out. And that's why I think the Saints lost it. They were in control. At this point, your enemy, the thing that you're trying to do is beat the clock. That's the enemy, not the team, and they didn't do a good job of that.
Oh, well, you see the cup half empty, I see it half full. I say New England. I think they came and they won the game. I think it was because of them. They stepped up and made plays when needed. They took advantage of opportunities when needed. You said that both teams, they pride themselves of situations, being very situational teams, and I think New England did that. Both great teams take advantage of mistakes of an opponent. That's what New England did. You got to understand, you had guys dropping balls all game, but when it was time to make a play, they all stepped up and made plays. And it was led by who? Their leader, Tom Brady. Took them down the field. After throwing their interception just before that, when we thought the game was over with, he comes back, no time left, no timeouts, a few minutes left on the clock, and drive his team down in a couple throws. I thought it was classic Tom Brady. I thought it was classic New England Patriots. I thought it was classic Bill Belichick. That's what they've been doing for a while. Had it been something new, maybe I would have gave it to the Saints. But this is something that's been continued in a pattern throughout New England Patriots, their dynasty over the last few years. This is nothing new. Shouldn't be a surprise. They've been doing it, and I believe they'll continue to do it as long as Tom Brady is back there.
Well, see, they won the game. I mean, you can second guess and be a Monday quarterback. You know, a lot of people be Monday quarterback. But I would have made the same decision as Coach made. I mean, you know, we're looking to get completion there, and we didn't get the completion, and that would have killed the ball game. But really, New England had pretty near gave the ball game away. They pretty near quit. They got a second chance, and like Terrence say, anytime you get Tom Brady a second chance down with 2 minutes left, he'd be, you know, he'd been getting the job done. So, you know, he's a good comeback quarterback, and he got a chance to beat us at the end.
Are you done, former players? I have brought you into my web here. Listen, if you have stated my case, Torrance, in that you know it's Tom Brady. You know it's Bill Belichick. Okay. Excellent coach, excellent football player. You cannot give them that kind of time on the clock to do what they do best. And the Saints could have controlled the clock much better. They're as good playing situational football as the New England Patriots are. Sean Payton is as good an offensive strategist as there is in the game, okay? And I thought they did a poor job of protecting their lead and draining the clock.
But you holler at Belichick. Belichick don't have nothing to do with the offense. When Tom Brady go down and score to win the drive, Belichick ain't got nothing to do with it. So don't call Belichick names.
He's a situational football
but he don't
coach.
have nothing to do with the offense.
I didn't say he did.
Oh, but you say Tom Brady and Belichick. Belichick got nothing to do with them going to win
He's
that
a
game.
situational coach. He, just like Sean Payton is a good coach, Bill Belichick is a great coach
defense,
too.
defense.
That's fine. I'm not saying that. But the
but
point is that they didn't do a good job of protecting the lead and milking the clock.
But we can keep talking about the coaches and all. The
And you'd still be wrong.
But the players still have to go out there, play, and
Absolutely.
execute. And the Patriots went out and executed. The Saints didn't.
They got the ball last.
Exactly.
And
The last team, and they,
Keenan Lewis
so they won.
Order in the court.
Notice what he said.
Order in the court.
Last one with the
Order
ball.
in the court. I'll hold you in contempt. Behave.
Last one.
Both are true. Saints lost the game, Patriots won the game. But the Saints had this game under control. It's more the Saints losing this game than the Patriots winning this game. There's no doubt about that. The Saints gave this game away in every conceivable way that you possibly can. All you need to do is look at the facts of this game. I have no problem with the play call to throw the ball on third down for Marcus Colston. I have a problem with Drew Brees throwing that ball. If it's not there, simply take a sack or run the ball and kick the field goal. Why would you throw an impossible pass to complete into double coverage down the sideline and stop the clock when they can't stop the clock? It makes no sense at all. I have no problem with the other play call. I love the bootleg call. It wasn't there. Somebody stayed home. Great play. Nothing wrong with the call. The Patriots did make a play there, but the Patriots made no plays. They dropped the ball all over the place. Brady throws an interception. They had 2 chances to win this game and did absolutely nothing. Only because the Saints did a poor job of managing the clock and a poor job of executing did the Patriots get a reprieve. And if you give Tom Brady a third chance, goodness gracious, he'll get it done. But I can think of a lot of quarterbacks, if you give them 3 chances, they're going to get it done. Keenan Lewis, how can you not keep the receiver in bounds? So many chances, Saints lost the game. We'll take a timeout. We'll take a look at college football when we return in just a moment. And Sports NOLA TV continues from TGI Fridays. The Saints nearly made it another perfect weekend. What a great Saturday it was prior to Sunday and the difficult loss that the Saints had because LSU and Tulane came through in a big way. First of all, the Tigers taking on the Florida Gators at Tiger Stadium. Zach Mettenberger had a normal day for a change, but he made enough plays. Beckham shakes a tackle, gets down the field, nice cutback. Florida's got a great defense. LSU knew they'd be challenged. J.C. Copeland puts it in the end zone. LSU won this game up front, Brian. They won the game up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely, and for the first time in a while, the defense did a great job. They dominated this game. Mettenberger looked very pedestrian. They did a good job with the wide receivers. Running game was there, but overall, the defense give them the W in this game.
Well, it's just good to see, Torrance, when your offensive line like that can control play and your defensive line can control play. Your special teams were good enough as well. This was a complete effort, and it came from other areas other than their passing game.
You like to see wins like this because they're all not going to be blowouts, and you're going to have to fight sometimes. You're going to have to struggle sometimes, and I'm glad to see a win like this from LSU because later on in the season, I think the game's going to get tougher, definitely when you're talking about bowl games.
Jeremy Hill looks like an NFL running back, Ricky, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he did good. I mean, they got a lot of good running backs on their team, but I was more impressed with the offensive line. Those guys really did some great run blocking. I seen how the center and the guard, they fired off the ball, and they were making the defense move back. So I really was impressed with the offensive line.
I was impressed with Les Miles' post-game press conference where, believe me, LSU was the hammer and not the nail. Remember that.
This time around.
This time around. It was classic.
It's all
good. If you haven't
good.
seen it, get it up.
Two teams competing.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And Ricky's right. This offensive line is probably the most talented, most athletic they've had in a long time. They got some future NFL players, which is not something we could say in recent years at LSU, and I think that was a large reason they won this game. Kudos to the defense for stepping up. Much bigger test against the spread offense of Ole Miss this coming weekend with others to come. Meanwhile, in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, Tulane took a gigantic step forward in its quest not only to make a bowl game, but to possibly win Conference USA. Derek Strozier, Defensive Player of the Week, Conference USA. Devin Powell, Offensive Player of the Week. Cairo Santos, Special Teams Player of the Week. They just got it done in all phases. And Brian, they won this game without their quarterback.
Absolutely. Devin White played well for a redshirt freshman. Step in. His 2 touchdown passes came in the overtime period. And I'll tell you what, Derek Strozier, all he is a scoring machine. He returned a blocked field goal for a touchdown last week. And now he returns a pick, 99 yards for a touchdown. So I'll tell you what, Kenny, we've said this, Curtis Johnson, keep up the great work.
And I love the decision by Johnson here after they missed in triple overtime to not waste any time, Torrance. They just put the best kicker in the country on the field, said let's win it here, and Cairo Santos did.
Give him opportunity. Again, best kicker in the country. Give him opportunity. He went out. He won the ball game. Great. Can we say R&L carry at least right now as a bowl game?
Yeah, at least. I think it's going to get better. 36-33 final. Ricky, you win with your backup quarterback. That speaks volumes about Curtis Johnson's team.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was a great prospect coming in. They had high hopes on him, so they knew he was a good quarterback. I mean, they just didn't know they were going to have to use him.
Kenny, I want to say this might be the best BCS team, Bowl Championship Series team, that nobody has really seen. It's pathetic that the crowds that are going to this. This is a good football team. You've got a new stadium coming in next year. Go out and support this team because it's a bowl-ready team.
Well, it really is. I mean, it's a team that has earned respect. It's a team that by beating East Carolina, beat a legitimate team, a team that had whipped North Carolina badly, and a team that is clearly looking like the class of Conference USA until this game. So now Tulane gets a week off before Tulsa comes in. This Tulsa team is a team that has just absolutely hammered Tulane for many years, but they're not anywhere near as good as they've been in recent years, and this will be a great opportunity for Tulane. Nick Montana will be back at quarterback. He will remain the starter. You don't lose your job getting hurt, and he's their best option, and they should heal up to be ready for that game. So great stuff for Tulane, and no doubt that they have aspirations for even bigger things than perhaps the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. High school football continues at a premium, and it's time to announce our sportsNOLA.com, WGSO 990 AM, and New Orleans Quarterback Club Prep Player of the Week. He's quarterback Ryan Okrepke of St. Paul's High School at Mandeville. He was actually 19 of 22 after the official numbers were turned in for 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also rushed 6 times for 52 yards as St. Paul's beat Mandeville 20-3. And that performance was overshadowed by an incident on a sideline, which really was ridiculous and needs to be addressed and will be addressed. But on the field, it's all about the kids and playing the game. You know, Krepke had a big game. When you complete all but 3 passes, you've done an awfully good job against a really good opponent in Mandeville that's made the state semifinals 2 straight years, Brian.
Kenny, you guys got such a hard job picking the player of the week each week because, you know, Jackson for St. Aug, you've got Gravelay from Holy Cross. I mean, there's some really great candidates each and every week.
Well, we also balance it because we try not to duplicate schools as much as possible. We want to try to spread the wealth as much as possible. And to pick one guy is virtually impossible. You're right.
Yeah.
But this was an instance where the young man played extremely well against a big-time team in a big-time rivalry game.
Absolutely.
So, obviously, that's why we felt the way we did. Of course, our first NBC Bank Prep Showcase continued this past Friday night with a great American rivalry, Holy Cross and Jesuit. If you haven't been to one of these, you've missed a lot. Over 10,000 fans on hand, live on WHNO Channel 20, live at sportsNOLA.com. Tad Gormley Stadium, historic site of so many of these battles over the years. And this was a great game from start to finish. James Tabry, Michael Chigbu, what a big-time receiver he is. Just a junior, big, fast, and he is the apple of the eye of many recruiters. Tabry, a very good quarterback. Jesuit didn't quit, though. McMahon into the end zone, tie the game late to give themselves a chance at 13-13. Sets the stage for a game-winning drive. Reed Gravelay will knock it through for Holy Cross, and Gravelay had to do it twice. They iced the kicker once, and he had to come back and do it again, and he did. Ron Bricado says hello, guys. And Holy Cross wins at 16-13, snap a 5-game losing streak. Here come the students, a 5-game losing streak at the hands of Jesuit. That's how big this game is, guys.
Wow.
And that's what makes high school football so good. Over 10,000 people there, Brian. Big-time scene.
Well, I tell you what, you're right. And to have the fans storm the field like that, like you said, Kenny, that's outstanding.
Really good stuff. And Ricky, you played in a lot of great high school games. You ever play in a setting like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, we play against Glade Central. That's our arch rival. We have like 15,000 there every Friday night for Muck Bowl. So it's just great to have good high school football.
You know what a fitting ending to win on the last play of the game on a field goal.
That's what you like. I've been going to some of these high school football games, and they have been great. If you haven't had an opportunity to get out on a Friday or a Saturday to see high school football in Louisiana, you need to get out there.
This weekend, it's double your pleasure, double your fun. We've got 2 rivalry games to show you as part of the First NBC Prep Showcase this weekend. And these are 2 big-time Catholic League battles. Holy Cross and Brother Martin, neighborhood rivalry. They'll get on at noon Saturday on WHNO. And then a monster game between St. Augustine and defending state champion Archbishop Rummel, which will be shown at 6:30 p.m. on WHNO. Of course, you can watch them both live at sportsNOLA.com. Great games to watch. No doubt you'll want to be there. We appreciate First NBC Bank and Ashton Ryan and Ed Marshall and Lou Bolero, the entire crew, for making all this possible for us to bring you the best of high school football. We'll take a time out here. When we come back, we'll talk about what's to come with your New Orleans Saints as Sports NOLA TV continues from TGI Fridays in Metairie. Here at TGI Fridays in Metairie, where variety is the spice of life, and TGI Fridays has variety covered. 2 locations, Metairie on Veterans Boulevard, across the river on Manhattan. Great food. Come out to TGI Fridays. Great lunch specials, great place. Watch some football. TGI Fridays, where in here, it's always Friday. Ken Trahan, Sports NOLA TV. The Saints have a bye week, and then it's back to action against Buffalo. And let's take a look at the upcoming New Orleans Saints schedule. We mentioned the Buffalo Bills coming to town. Then it's at the Jets and then the Cowboys coming to town. And Brian, as we talked about, these are 3 games that, frankly, you need to win them all before they hit that tough stretch.
Absolutely, and he's going to give them the week off like they've done in the past. Good note to keep in mind is that after starting 0-3 after bye games, after bye weeks under Sean Payton, they've won their last 4.
And you expect Drew Brees to bounce back and play better.
Oh yes, especially after a week off, and hopefully we can get Jimmy Graham, get him healthy. We don't know the extent to his injury, but hopefully we can get him back healthy and get some other guys with these nicks and bruises out the way so we can come back and play some ball.
Opposing defenses have a game plan for the Saints now off of that Patriots game, Rick?
Not really. I mean, coming in the Superdome, Saints going to be the Saints. We got the best team, best offense. Every now and then, you're going to struggle a little bit, but we still have the best offense.
So bottom line is the Saints have it in their hands, and they'll be favored, by the way, I'm sure, in all 3 of those games, even the road game against the Jets. So, again, that's the key in the NFL. Win the games you're supposed to win, steal 1 or 2 that you're not supposed to win, and if you do, you'll end up in a great place. Gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure. Torrance, thank you.
Oh, it's been
great to have you with us. Mr. Walsh, a pleasure. The Hall of Famer, thank you. And we want to thank everyone else, including Andrew and Adam and Lenny and the entire crew, for a job well done. And remind you, we'll be back next week at the same time at 6 p.m. with Sports NOLA TV. Until then, now this is Ken Trahan saying thanks for joining us and be a good sport. God bless you one and all. We are rounding third and heading home. So long.